Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of Sweet Skein of Mine. My name's Amanda. I am coming to you from Fredericton, New Brunswick, East Coast, Canada, and I am a knitter. This is a podcast, I guess you could call it my little knitting journey. I'm also an indie dyer of my little at-home small business, Sweet Skein of Mine. And yeah, so welcome back, any returning people. And for those of you that are new, it's just, yeah, a little bit of knitting chit chat. So yeah, it is Monday and I haven't done this, I guess, for a couple of weeks, but I haven't really had little things to talk about, or I guess I should say big things to talk about, but I do now. So first things first, my Madewell, it's done. I finished it a couple weeks ago, but anyway, I'm very, very pleased with it. And I'm so happy I did a size up, and the modifications that I did were I didn't taper in to make it fit in the sides because I do like things looser. And I also did like a sleeve where once I cuffed it, it was kind of shorter, like a little bit of, not quite a 3/4, a little longer than a 3/4 length. And I did it in the Brooklyn Tweed Loft colorway sweatshirt. Yeah, it's my favorite sweater. I don't really wear the other one very much. It's just that much smaller and fitted. I love the colorway. I did it in Legacy Fiber Arts sweater weather. And it's beautiful. It's like an orangey peach with flecks of purple, and so I'm happy I have it on hand for when I do want to wear color, but I'm such a gray person and I wear blue jeans every day. Yeah. So it's finished. I love it. I'm happy with the modifications. It flew. The sleeves, I had said last podcast I did on short needles, and a couple people had asked what they were. This is what I used. 16-inch Chow Goose. So your sleeve is literally in the round. You're not magic looping it and pulling it through, risking the ladder, and it just goes so much faster. So I'm forever doing it this way. And you could have gone smaller. I think I got 16-inch because it's all that Cricket Cove had in stock, but I've got to go get some needles today, and I'm going to get a size smaller. So that worked out wonderfully, and it blocked beautifully. I have another Brooklyn Tweed whip that I'll show you, and I had a knit night here last week with some girls, and no one could believe the difference of how it changes the fabric, the texture of the wool after you block it. So when they say it blooms, it really does bloom. And also I'll show you my other project in my Brooklyn Tweed Loft that I had picked up after Christmas at Espastrico. I had said before, they have samples in that store, which is amazing because when you walk into those stores with no projects in mind, I draw a blank and I can't really come up with something. If I don't have anything on hand that I'm buying in mind, they had a sample of this. So I mentioned before, I copied it. And the feel of this is so rustic and soft, but then after it's blocked, it's a different softer feel. So this is flying, and I like to kind of compare this to sock knitting when you're using striped yarn. So if people understand what I mean, when you're knitting socks using striped yarn, it flies because you kind of get that one more stripe before I put it down, or I don't know, it just goes faster, it seems, than using a tonal or variegated kind of yarn. For me, it does anyway. And that's what is kind of happening with this, because it's a big rectangle shawl and everything is, you know, like 5-inch, then knit 1-inch, then knit 3, then 1, then like it just kind of goes in that kind of pattern. So mentally it's going fast, and this is going to be a big, like I'm not even halfway. I think I've got to go 2 more stripes, and then I go to like a 13-inch segment of this colorway Hayloft. So it's the Rivage, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I mean, it's just back and forth, except for it does have this little edging, so when you block it, it'll have that nice effect of a bit of more of a finished edge. So Fossil, Sweatshirt, and Hayloft. So that's on the go, and this is kind of my mindless throw in my bag knitting, because it is back and forth, and it's in my Tanae KC project bag. I went to, and it was called a Knit in St. John on this past Saturday, put on by Cricket Cove. My friend Leanne told me about it, so I went down to meet up with a bunch of girls, and it was literally just sitting around knitting, and we had so much fun. It was just an easy day, but I brought this bag and it got so many compliments, and everybody commented on how well it's made. So I sent her a message saying, your bag got a lot of attention, and as it should, because the quality and the price point. So it's Tanae Casey on Etsy. I have to show her name, because if anybody's interested, go look online at all of her beautiful bags. So well made, and the project and the price point it's amazing. So that's on the go. What else do I have? I guess I could tell you more about Cricket Cove, the knit in that we went to. Yeah, I didn't even know it was happening, and Leanne messaged me and just said, are you going down? And so my mom and I drove down. We sat around and knit and talked, and oh my gosh, I love doing things like this, because like I said, sometimes I just can't come up with what I want. I can go on Ravelry for hours and try to figure out something fun to do, but then when you're around people and you see their projects and finished and colors, and anyway, I got so inspired. So I got inspired to make the hollows, and oh my gosh, what's the other one called? It like augury, Augury. They're both shawls, and they're not so much triangle, they're more like of the longer ones. So they're on my to-do list after I get my other million projects finished. Also, I picked up, so Cricket Cove in St. John has 30% all of their Shibui Silk Cloud. So after using it that one time in my luxurious shawl, what's it called? Oh my gosh, the one I just did by Pickles. Luxurious Simple Shawl, I think it was. Anyway, stranding a worsted yarn with mohair, and the Silk Cloud especially, it just, yeah, it made the shawl for me. So these were 30% off, and they had a tax-free thing. So I grabbed these 4 colors. I got this like charcoal gray, black, this silvery pale gray, and this pretty tan. Anyway, I'm going to make those shawls for gifts, because I think everybody would love them. My friends that can handle wool anyway. I got that. And my birthday's not until April, but my mom got me this as an early birthday present. Sock Architecture by Lara Neal. I've been wanting this for ages, and I love the Smooth Operator, the Susan B. Anderson pattern. I love it. Like, it's so easy and straightforward, but I'm ready to mix it up and try different things, especially when it comes to like a heel flap and gusset. Yeah, it's just a very interesting book, and it's got a lot of strategies for creating all these different looks. And anyway, so I got that. Thank you, Mama. Early birthday present. And so also another project I have on the go is Hedgehog Fibers put this out. It's a free pattern, and it's on their site. It's called Squared, and it's a poncho. So it looks pretty straightforward. I just started it. It's all of these basically square and rectangle panels, and you connect it all together. There's an I-cord cast off. You take fingering weight and you double strand it. Anyway, super pretty. But what I decided to do is to use all my colorways and give it a try. So what I did start is just like the very first panel, and I used one of my new colorways, Vintage Love Letter. So here we go. There's panel number 1. I'm so happy with this colorway. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to, almost like a dirty old background of a like old paper, how it can green and yellow, and it's got flecks of hot pink through it. Because of the name, I had to use this stitch marker with the little brass heart. Pretty. So there's panel number 1, and Hedgehog Fibers used graphite. They're dark grayish black almost for this, for the kind of the connecting color. And I went a little lighter and dyed up my own colorway, and this is chalkboard. So this is what I'm going to use to tie in all those panels together. I love gray, and this turned out really pretty. Just like a tonal gray. So I have that on the go, and I like doing this. I like double stranding the fingering weight. It gives it like such a soft, squishy, cozy effect, and I hope I don't need to block this project because I want it to stay this squishy. So that's on the go. And then I also started the easy one that I've been speaking about. Joji Locatelli's new sweater pattern. It's a pullover. It looks and it sounds pretty, I hope, easy. I like her patterns though because it's so straightforward. It is a paid for pattern, but I'll show you a picture of what it's gonna look like. It's got the dropped shoulders. You start top down. So I'm doing this for myself in Brooklyn Tweed Loft, the colorway Truffle Hunt. So here's the colorway, and it's like a dark brownish gray, and you can't really see it, but I'm going to try to find one. There's flecks of blue in it. Is it ever pretty? I didn't notice that before. I noticed it more when I was knitting it. So I just cast this on. But isn't that pretty yarn? So I'm doing the fingering weight version for myself, and then my daughter Sarah asked me if I'd do her sweater, and I showed her this pattern and she loved it, and I told her to pick a color and I dye it up for her, and I'm going to do hers in the it's called the Easy Bulky one, I think. The Easy Bulky one, yes. So I dyed up this for her in my worsted weight yarn, and it's a super pale pink tonally color. I love it. It turned out so pretty and so soft. Teddy, my dog wants to go out. Hang on. What's the matter? Here, let's show everybody who you are. No? Okay. There you go. Okay. Sorry. Interruption. Anyway, so yeah, she loved the color. I think it turned out so pretty too. Just very soft and pink. It reminds me of the color I did my campside shawl in, I forget the color, what it was called. But it was like this, pale pink. Pretty. So I'll get that started. And most importantly, my FiberShare package came from my FiberShare friend Erin in Ontario. And oh my gosh. So I've tried so hard to keep it all together. I've been wanting to use some of the yarn, especially for my Cozy Memories blanket, but I wanted to keep it together to podcast and show everybody, but oh my goodness, like I don't even think this is giving it justice, but I'm gonna show you guys some of these things. Erin, it was so me. Everything was so thoughtful. And hi, Alex. She said her and her little girl, Alex, watch it, and her little girl waves at me. So she made me a little bento bag project bag. And she knew I loved pink, so she did the lining and that. And she names it, and it's called Kutch, but it's written like that. And Erin, I won't read your sweet letter, but I do want to say what this means. Pronounced catch. Catch is a Welsh word which has no English equivalent. Loosely translated, it means a snug, cozy, and safe place created between two people, sort of like a snuggle or a hug, but it's much more than that. And she only makes these for her friends and family, and so that was very special, and that she put such a personalized gift in here for me. She knows I like these little bags, and anyway, with the denim outer, it's beautiful. Thank you, Erin, so much. So I have to start a sock, and it's going to go in this special bag. And she had thrown in so many fun minis for my cozy memories, because she had asked if there was anything specific I really wanted, and I did just want surprises, but I said, you know what, like cozy memory yarn would be wonderful, and that she did. So I got all of these minis, and everything she got me was local, and she gave me a nice breakdown of where it was from. So yeah, it was nice getting that. Sock yarn, the colorway's watermelon. How pretty is that? Sock Adventures, made in Canada. Lovely. That, these yarns. I love that you kept it local, Erin. Some new little scissors, which I can always have extras with. I got a stitch marker, a little kitty cat stitch marker. See that? Some tea, some David's tea, which I love. Some chocolate, and thank goodness my son hasn't seen this, or he would have stole it, but I've kept everything hidden in my little room so that I kept it all together. Anyway, yes, thank you so much, Erin. So I had to use one of the little mini skeins that you gave me. I did knit up, and I will show you, oh, losing needles here, which one I did. I did this pink one. So this was a little mini that she had sent in there as well. That's another little vintage love letter square I put in. My dog's outside, and he keeps running across my pool, and it's, oh my gosh. I'm sure it's pretty solid, but I may be jumping in this snowy, slushy pool to save my dog today. Better not be. All right. So yes, thank you, Erin. I loved everything, and it's so much fun. I can't wait for the next one. And my fiber share partner that I sent to, Miyoka, she did a little video of unwrapping everything, and that was nice. I loved seeing you do that. So thanks for sharing your reaction. I'm glad it was good. I sent her some of my hand-dyed yarn and some other little goodies. So yeah, can't wait for the next fiber share. Totally gonna do it, and everybody should do it, because it's just like a little Christmas. What else? I guess I got all my little whips on the go shown. My new Cozy Memories blanket. I want to kind of end this by showing some of my new colorways. So hopefully this isn't boring to people. I dyed up. I've been on a little bit of a dyeing frenzy, and we've had so many snow days lately, and not even because of snow, but because of freezing rain. Yeah, it's crazy how it's been like really wet and everything. So I'm a part-time EA. I work part-time at one of our high schools, Fredericton High School, and yeah, so we've had a few snow days, and the days that I work, it's just landed that I've had the days off. So I've had a ball dyeing and coming up with new colorways. I had some girls ask me yesterday, I must have fun naming the yarns, and I really do. Sometimes just a funny name comes into my mind, and I'll work some colors around that, or I just dye the yarn, and once it's like with a palette in mind, and then it just reminds me of something. So I will show you some of my new colorways that I have had on the go. So this is Dragonfly, and it's got greens and purples and orange and blues. It's pretty. Very, very speckled with a natural base. And this is Good Karma. Ooh, And it's got like a deep purple orchidy base, very tonal with reds and blues and greens all speckled into it. This has been a favorite. Donut Kill My Vibe. So it's a natural base flecked with browns and like a fuchsia pink. This was inspired because here in Fredericton, we just got this new donut bar. It's called the Freddy Donut Bar. They open for a few hours, they immediately sell out. You can only buy 4 donuts at a time. It's crazy busy. I've yet to get there. So then she closes shop, makes a whole new batch, and opens up, sells out again. Like, I think she's closed by 11 o'clock every day. Like, good for you. And I haven't gotten one yet, but I'm going to. I never used to be a sugar girl, and now I'm, like, I used to just be all about the salt, potato chips and pretzels, and I think it's a sign of my age. My hormones are so different with, or I guess it's making me different because I love sugar now. Now I want to like have my pretzels but melt chocolate chips and dip the pretzels in the chocolate, or buy chocolate. It's weird. I never had a sweet tooth, but I do now. So gotta get to the donut bar. And yeah, this has been flying. I love it. I can't wait to knit it up. So Donut Kill My Vibe. Showed you this earlier, going in my poncho. This is chalkboard. You Are My Sunshine. It's got a yellow base with reds and blues, purples, all speckled into it. Careless Whispers. A pink tonal base speckled with black and charcoal gray. Vintage Love Letter. This is my favorite. It's got like a dirty beige base flecked with like a khaki green and some hints of bright pink in there. This is Butterfly. You need to see Butterfly without the ball band because this is probably another one of my favorites. But it's like this mauvey pink, and I put in this deep, deep red with blue and purple, like a more of like an orchid color, I guess, in the background. So that's Butterfly. Hibiscus. This is like a bright coral base flecked with green. Super pretty. That one. Grey Gardens. This is a silvery gray base flecked with like a denim blue. There's not a lot of speckles in this whole skein. It's more of a silvery gray, but then it does have that here and there. And lastly, the big favorite, Barn Board. So this is a pale gray base. It's got black and all of these different browns kind of flecked through it. This has been so popular. People are making sweaters with this, and I cannot wait to see what they look like. And then I did do a couple of worsted weight bases. So this is Copper Pot. And this is York. And the color York, because I had, like I said before, I lived in an apartment with one of my girlfriends on York Street, and it was so gross that the only way we made it nice was to paint it all these crazy funky colors, and this was the color of my bedroom. That was in a crazy, crazy few years in that apartment. We had some doozy parties. Like my Christmas tree went out the window one year. My friend Jenny threw the Christmas tree out the window. I don't know why, but that's what kind of apartment it was. But my bedroom made me happy when I walked into it because this was the color. And then just as for a couple of my girlfriends, they wanted a worsted beige colorway, so I did this up for them, and I called this Resting Beach Face, because it's like this sandy color, and it's a little tonally beige color. So, and I would happily dye that for anybody. It's not in my Etsy shop or anything, but I would. So I guess that's it. I've rambled on long enough, and thanks for giving me a few minutes to show my new colorways. I'm so pleased with them. They turned out really well, and the sale's been going great. Yeah, 3 days left of my Happy February sale. So all my skeins are $20 until the end of February. So if anybody wants to jump on that sale, great. And then after that, I think I'll put, like, I don't really, I think what I've decided is not to put the prices back to 28. Yeah, I don't like doing that. I mean, I know they're worth that, and that's what's comparable with all indie dyers. So I hope other indie dyers don't find this annoying, but I'm gonna put my price at $25, and then that way it does make sense. And I just got a message from my wholesaler that all the yarn's going up in price. Just all the costs are rising. So 3 more days though, $20, and then after that they'll be at $25. And hopefully Cricket Cove will be getting the new colorways in very soon. So thanks for joining me, everybody, on my knitting journey, and thank you so much for all of the direct messages that I've gotten on Instagram, for the support, and yeah, and the questions. I hope I've been helpful. I just appreciate it. This is a wonky thing to do, to sit by yourself and talk to your phone, but I love it. I hope everybody has something that they could sit and talk about for 20 minutes by themselves about. Yeah, so happy knitting, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I won't be back for another couple weeks. We go away for the March break. Yay, we're taking the kids to Dominican, gonna go sit on a beach, and yeah, knit on the beach for a week. Doesn't that sound awful? And I'm gonna sleep. I'm so tired. Happy knitting, everybody. I hope everybody's well. Stay in touch with me, all my new fiber friends. I'm loving the connections that we've made. And I will see you in a couple weeks. Okay, bye.